of these guys wearing black pants. Danny Melendez busy inside.
Randy Ford's got the silver stripe down the side that that'll help. And he's a little taller. You know, both of them list their height at 5 feet 5 inches tall. But Randy Ford's a taller 5'5" than Danny Melendez.
You know, John, we also talked a little bit, or we haven't told one thing yet, and that is this business of Randy Ford, I'm sorry, having a little bit of a problem with weight coming in here from Denver.
Well, he came in about 123 pounds, 123 and a half pounds, so he was up by 3 or 4 pounds over his limit. He had to go out and sweat that off, and that's a lot of weight to lose when you're only 120 pounds.
It certainly is. We talked to Randy a little bit earlier in the afternoon and said that he was feeling a little drained, but he thought he'd be fine for the fight. We'll just have to see. Just under a minute here in round number 1. Scheduled 9 for the U.S. Flyweight Championship. Melendez with his back to the ropes.
So far, Randy Ford has had a difficult time with his distancing. He's been throwing a lot of kicks that are not in range, so he's been missing with a lot of kicks, but both fighters are staying real busy, especially considering this is only the first round.
Just 30 seconds left to go in this first round, and Melendez very much pressing the fight. You'll hear a lot of noise from the crowd every time Melendez does anything at all, because, of course, this is Portland, and this is Melendez's hometown. Some of that noise will be justified, some of it will be not. 15 seconds left to go. Randy Ford backing up. Melendez pressing the attack. Good left there from Melendez. As we come to the end of round 1, we'll be back with round 2 on Score. Melendez on the left of your screen. Randy Ford with the white stripe down his, or the silver stripe down his black pants. That was a spinning back fist by Randy Ford that landed a little high on the elbow. The elbow landing a little high on Melendez's head. Referee calling it a slip, not sure why.
I don't understand that at all. It was a good, solid shot, and it did seem like it landed. If anything, he probably should have called it as an illegal blow.
Good exchange in there. Ford getting, Ford taking. Melendez lands a good counter left there. Melendez draws a lot of help from the crowd there as Randy Ford has taken his second warning now for holding. The next time there should be a point taken away.
Actually, both of them are holding a little bit. I don't know who's going to get the call there, but Melendez was doing his own share of holding on that last inside exchange.
Just under a minute left in round number 1 as Randy Ford slips and Melendez hit him while he was down.
Yeah, he received a warning then for the late punch. Well, he just bumped heads there pretty hard. I think there's, I was going to say it looked like Danny Melendez might have a little cut. I'm not sure. They definitely came together hard with the head.
Melendez landing the back fist on Ford as we come down to about 30 seconds left in round 2. A fight of this pace, as we say, would not be to Ford's advantage because he had to sweat off 4 extra pounds before this fight. You would think he'd want to pace a little better, but Melendez is not letting him do it. Melendez holding just a little bit there on the ropes, too, and it did not get detected by the referee. Good right uppercut as we come to the end of round number 2.
Right now we're seeing Danny Melendez skip in. There's a spinning back fist that goes right over the top of his head. Randy Ford goes down, and then Melendez just whacks him a pretty good left hook. I don't know if he just figured, well, the guy just got short or what.
He's there, why not? Referee, of course, giving a warning to Danny Melendez for doing that. I'm still a little confused as to why that spinning back fist knockdown was not called a knockdown back in that round, John.
Yeah, it wasn't called a knockdown, and it wasn't called a foul, and it seemed to me like it was both.
Yes. Well, start of round 3, Randy Ford slipping down there. John, how do you have it?
Got Melendez up by 1 point. I've given him the first 2 rounds by a half-point margin, so it's a very close fight.
Good action fight so far, wouldn't you say?
It's an excellent action fight. These 2 fighters both have come out here throwing lots of technique. They're not, they're staying busy. They're throwing stuff hard. Nobody's trying to lay back in the weeds or anything. They're going to it.
Danny Melendez, the hometown favorite with the shorter hair and no stripe down his black pants. Randy Ford out of Denver, Colorado with a silver stripe down the side of his trunks. And into the 3rd round of a scheduled 9. This is for the U.S. flyweight title in the ISKA.
And right now we're seeing Danny Melendez do a convincing job of holding. He had Randy Ford's left arm trapped tight and was hanging on for everything.
And he was scoring well underneath it with his other hand, too, as a matter of fact. You wonder why the referee is missing that.
Well, he's on the wrong side to see it, really.
Randy Ford circling now. Danny Melendez certainly getting the benefit of this crowd behind him as he lands a high round kick there.
Melendez is doing the better job inside. He's landing quite a few good body punches when they get inside. Once again, Randy Ford warm for holding.
Just under 30 seconds here in round 3 as he is coming out of there. Melendez landing a good front kick into the midsection of Randy Ford. Ford slipping that.
Now we're seeing a little bit of Randy Ford holding over here. As they get inside, Randy Ford's leaning over, using that height advantage. Oh, another spinning back fist that hit way up on the elbow.
It certainly did. You wonder why the referee is not cautioning him about that. As we come to the end of round 3.
We're going to see Danny Melendez step inside. Randy Ford throws a wide right hand, spinning back fist, and Ford tries to counter with his own right hand and moves right into that elbow. That's a call that was not made there. Elbow clearly hitting him on the neck and lower jaw area.
And of course, that is an illegal punch, although possibly not intended by Ford. Nevertheless, an illegal blow. That's 2 of those the referee has missed in this fight so far. As we start now round 4 of a scheduled 9-rounder for the U.S. flyweight title. Moving around in a circular pattern there, Danny Melendez, hometown boy, who is drawing a lot of support from this crowd. Randy Ford, with the stripe down his black trunks, is from Denver, Colorado. Does not have a friend in the place, I don't believe. If he does, it's only 1 or 2. John, how do you have the scoring so far?
I've got Danny Melendez up by 1.5 points, 30 to 28.5 after 3 rounds. They've all been close rounds. Melendez is doing a better job inside. Ford, seems like to me he needs to use the reach advantage that he has, and he's not. He's not using that. He should be using a little more in the way of front leg kicking and trying to keep outside, and he's letting this happen altogether too much, and Melendez is better inside.
Once again, as John said earlier, a very good action fight. Here's a caution to Melendez finally for holding a very good action fight. We would think that that would not be to Randy Ford's advantage because he had to sweat off 4 extra pounds when he got into the weigh-in. And, of course, Melendez will want to push the action as much as possible. Randy Ford is not doing anything to stop that. Melendez doing a lot of work, scoring well inside. Lands 2 or 3 good punches in that square. There's a good uppercut by Melendez. Melendez on the ropes, but doing most of the scoring.
Just some great inside fighting there on the part of Danny Melendez. He did a nice little tipsy-2 there to spin Randy Ford, and he landed convincingly with inside combinations to the body and to the head. This crowd is starting to really come alive.
Just under 30 seconds in round 4. Danny Melendez saying, come on, let's fight. Let's stand here and duke it out. Randy Ford obliges, and they are in close quarters and punching on the ropes. As we're coming down to the end of round 4 here, a missed kick by Melendez that draws the cheer from the crowd just because he missed it or because he threw it, I guess.
Bob Pennington doing a good job now of stepping in and knocking away Randy Ford's hands. Anytime either fighter starts to hold, he's separating and breaking.
As we come to the end of round 4, and we certainly don't think that this is a situation for Randy Ford where he can afford to be penalized any points. He's going to have to watch that. Let's go up into Randy Ford's corner. Listen to his handler, Gil Trancosa.
Good job. Your mouth. Beautiful, Randy. Beautiful. Lean back. Relax. Fight a good fight. What can I say? Okay, look. When he throws a jab, throw the front kick under it. You know what I'm talking about?
He's pumping two jabs out there before he does anything.
Put that front kick right under his jab.
You're going to see a little of the inside fighting. We see Bob Pennington stepping in there and knocking away the holding. At this point now, Melendez has got his back to the ropes. Digs in there with about 14 body punches right in a row. Slips out of the hooks that Ford counters with. Does a good job there. Got the best of that exchange.
Certainly didn't. John, how do you have it scored so far?
Melendez again winning a 10 to 9.5 round. It's 40-38 after 4 rounds.
And as we start round number 5 here in Portland on Coors Superfights Battle of Champions, truly this is a battle, and it is for the championship, the U.S. Flyweight Championship. Randy Ford, black trunks, white, silver stripe down the side. Danny Melendez, the hometown favorite in the plain black trunks and the red foot pads.
Once again, there's going to be a warning for holding.
Let's go.
At least we thought there was going to be. Whenever it seems to get to an in-fighting position, it looks like Danny Melendez has much the advantage here, John.
He has been doing the better job inside there. Ford would be advised, I think, to move around, stick in the long punches and stick in the long kicks and keep some ring to his back there so he doesn't get in the ropes.
And yet he continues to bore inside against a man who is the superior fighter inside to him. Again, Melendez scoring from that position. Under a minute now left in round 5, and Ford still trying to get inside. The reason for which we're not sure we understand. Melendez scoring with a kick there.
Once again, Melendez holding that left hand, Randy Ford. Lots of holding going on. Both fighters have been warned twice.
We still really haven't seen the effects of the weight loss on Randy Ford. He doesn't, oh, takes 2 good shots there from Melendez. Counters with his own right.
Melendez is really doing a good job of landing clean and then ducking and avoiding Ford's counterattacks. Just doing a masterful job inside there. That's one of the best inside jobs of fighting I've seen in a long time from anybody.
Absolutely. Melendez looking very, very good. As we come down to the end of round 5, we've got more on score. U.S. Flyweight Championship bout between Danny Melendez with his back to the camera and Randy Ford, who is facing the camera with the silver stripe down his black trunks. So far, what we have seen is Melendez working very well inside. A couple of nice spin moves by Ford there, neither one of them with any damage. John, how do you have it scored?
Gave the last round once again to a half-point win for Danny Melendez. Another close round, but he's won a bunch of these now. I've got him up by 70 to 66.5.
John, this is probably the point to ask you, I think. Based on what you've seen so far now, and you've seen an awful lot of fights in your time, do you think the 4 pounds that Ford had to sweat off is really that much of a difference, or do you think that Melendez is just right now the better fighter?
Well, I tell you, I would think that Melendez is the better fighter. Ford has kept up pretty much throughout the fight. He really has. He's maybe a little more tired than Melendez, but fatigue is not a major factor in this fight, in my opinion.
And once again, as we keep looking, every time Ford goes inside, he takes several in the belly from the superior infighting of Danny Melendez. Melendez on the left of your screen. Randy Ford on the right. 8th round. And just a little over a minute left in, 30 seconds left in round 8 as we look at a 9-round scheduled fight here.
What you might see is that Randy Ford, at 125 pounds, might be just a lot stronger than he is. So it might not be so much that he would run out of energy, but just that he would hit harder and have more strength, be able to push people around a little better. I don't know. I mean, he is tired, no question about it, but he started losing rounds before he was tired.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. Danny Melendez, again, scoring underneath when they clinch. Don't go away, folks. We'll be back for the 9th and deciding round. We'll have it for you on score after this.
Forearm. Now, this is one that did receive a warning. Randy Ford was warned about that spinning back fist, but that's about the 3rd or 4th one that he's landed like that.
This is the 9th and final round of this U.S. Flyweight Championship round. As you can hear, the crowd on its feet cheering Danny, Danny, Danny for Danny Melendez, who's back to the ropes and now moves away. Melendez, a hometown boy here in Portland, Maine. Randy Ford with a stripe down his pants from Denver, Colorado.
Ford's going to have to do something really impressive, I think, to win this fight now. And he's making a terrific effort of it. There's no lack of desire on his part as he comes out throwing everything he's got.
What do you have for a score at this point, John?
I've got Melendez up solidly by 4 points, 80 to 76 at this point.
So it'll probably take a knockout from Ford to win this fight.
That's my opinion. Now, I don't know, again, you never know how the judges are going to see this fight. They're looking at it from different angles from where we're sitting. They may see some things that we haven't seen.
Dan Walker along with John Worley here on score as we bring you this flyweight fight. Danny Melendez, at this point in time, certainly the fresher of the 2 fighters.
Well, I'll tell you, Melendez is bothering me too. He's bending over a lot and almost ducking into some knees from Randy Ford. Very dangerous.
Just under a minute left in this fight, and the crowd on its feet cheering for their hero, Danny Melendez, to win this fight, as he does appear to both John and I to be doing. And again, every time they get close, Melendez scores inside and underneath.
Randy Ford just throwing a lot of pressure, trying to do it now. But inside is where Danny Melendez has been very, very effective. So he's kind of working hard to get in there. When he gets in there, he loses the battle.
Under 30 seconds left in this fight. The referee will call that one a slip, although I don't know why. It appeared that he was knocked down with that kick. 15 seconds or so left to go. Danny Melendez and Randy Ford slugging it out in the ring. You couldn't ask for a better action fight all the way to the final bell. And that's the end of this U.S. title fight. And I guess you'd have to say the crowd got its money's worth here tonight, John, wouldn't you?
Well, if they paid by the kick or by the punch, they got a terrific bargain, because both of these fighters threw solid kicks and solid punches for 9 full rounds. There wasn't any standing around at all.
Absolutely, as good an action fight, folks, as you will ever want to get. Any fight, anywhere, anytime, any sport. This one had it all. And we will await the judge's decision. We'll be back with that in just a minute on Score. Along with John Worley back in Portland, Maine, where we have just seen as good an action fight as you're likely to see. 9 rounds for the U.S. Flyweight Championship between Randy Ford of Denver and Danny Melendez of Portland, Maine. Of course, the crowd here going crazy behind us, as they have been for the whole fight, because here in Portland, Danny Melendez is somewhat of a hero. We are just now waiting for the referee's decision, and as soon as we have that, we will give it to you. But John Worley, if you can hear me up there, John, do you suppose we could find a better action fight than the one we found here?
Well, just like we said, Dan, there was an awful lot going on, a lot of action. Both guys were throwing a lot of stuff. Randy Ford deserves an awful lot of credit for this fight. He made the fight the whole 9 rounds.
Absolutely, John. I think we're ready for the decision now. Let's go up to our ring announcer, Chuck Morgan.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. The new flyweight champion, Danny Melendez.
As Danny Melendez supporters are now into the ring and mobbing him. Danny Melendez, a U.S. flyweight champion here in Portland, Maine, and a well-deserved victory. John Worley, I know on his unofficial scorecard, had Melendez well ahead, and the people here in Portland very proud, as you can see them around the area on their